The study, Biodistribution of mRNA COVID-19 Vaccines in Human Breast Milk, found that trace amounts of mRNA were detected in 10 out of 13 lactating women in a 45-hour period after vaccination. Our findings demonstrate that the COVID-19 vaccine mRNA is not confined to the injection site, but spreads systematically, the authors wrote. The study confirms previous results published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics last year. The 2022 paper, Detection of Messenger RNA COVID-19 Vaccines in Human Breast Milk, found trace mRNA amounts in 7 samples from 11 lactating women. Crucially, the new Lancet study concedes that mRNA vaccines do not stay in the arm. Initially, it was thought that the vaccine mRNA encapsulated in the NLPs, lipid nanoparticles, would remain localized at the injection site and quickly degrade, write the authors. However, several reports suggest that the NLPs mRNA can enter the bloodstream and accumulate in distant tissues. The authors further explain how vaccine mRNA is carried to mammary glands. For lactating mothers receiving the vaccine, our results suggest that the vaccine NLPs will reach the breast tissue, they write. Despite being excluded from the main vaccine trials, many pregnant and breastfeeding women were mandated to get vaccinated in accordance with CDC guidance. Does it not seem extraordinary to you that CDC guidance, as well as the media parroting this consistent message, did not have access to, and indeed the trials were not even undertaken, that could demonstrate the possible dangers or inconsistencies with that messaging? Does it not seem troubling to you that at that time, just a few short years ago, conversation was literally closed down, that there was uniform messaging both in legacy media and on certain social media sites, where censorship was routinely undertaken, where deep state officials with direct contacts to some of these agencies were willing to censor, control, shut down and purge true information simply because it was inconvenient? Does this single story not demonstrate the necessity of absolutely questioning this type of information? The obvious intention to cleanse, control and dominate the media space in order to prevent reasonable conversations from taking place, experts with valid opinions being heard. It seems to me extraordinary. This is just a couple of years ago. And what we're talking about now, symbolically, significantly, are mothers. The symbol, really, of the continuation of our species, the, in a sense, epicenter of many of our value systems. It seems casually unconscious that such a thing would be disregarded in this manner, but not at all surprising when we look at how the media has behaved regarding this issue and many others. The Lancet study demonstrates just how irresponsible and reckless the CDC's recommendations were. Dissent is akin to disinformation. Those two terms are becoming the same. Legislation is being passed to make it impossible to discern the difference between misinformation, malinformation, and just opposing views. And dissent, this is yet another example of it. You can't have a conversation about, as we've seen earlier in the show, about Putin and whether or not Putin dabbled in previous elections. It's just passed off as a fact. You can't have a conversation about how we found ourselves supporting a proxy war between Russia and Ukraine and whether or not there were opportunities of peace that have been passed up. All of this is regarded as enabling or apologizing. And the same with this issue. There is no issue where that template won't be applied. If you dissent, you'll be shut down. If you oppose, you'll be ignored. And simple and obvious basic questions about whether or not there are reliable clinical trials will cause you to be called a conspiracy theorist, when under ordinary circumstances, a lack of clinical evidence to support breastfeeding mothers or be taking a medicine will be regarded as a significant piece of information.
And now here we have literally hundreds of thousands and young people dying and nothing. Zero. Crickets.
147,000 excess deaths. And remember, this is in 2023. Everyone performing the salute. One man standing tall.
Why are you giving them?
Because I am told to, and that's how. Because I am told to, and.
If I was in Nazi Germany, I would have stood up to the regime. I wouldn't stand up to not being able to go to a pub for a month. I would have been like, Anne Frank, she's in that attic there. I saw her.
This is for your safety!